Welcome this morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm so pleased, as you all know, this is my favorite part of our symposium, is in all of the work that we do every day to try to improve the future of education for our students, to make it more student-centered, that we're able to hear from the perspectives of students in how we can improve our work, how we can transform education. And I am so pleased today to introduce our panel. And let me go ahead and do introductions first. Kaylin, who is at T.C. Williams Satellite Campus in Alexandria, Virginia. She is a junior, class of 2015, that is anticipating a 2014 graduation accelerated. Kaylin wanted to attend Satellite for the option of working at a faster pace. And it's nice to be able to work in a smaller environment at a big school. I was telling Kaylin that T.C. Williams was my rival high school when I was in high school up at Marshall, and for the individualized instruction, so we'll be talking more about that. Trumia is in middle school. She's in 8th grade up at the EAA in Michigan, which is a blended model. Frederick is in grade 4 at the EAA in Michigan, which is the blended model. Jonah is age 13. He's at St. James taking intermediate Spanish in a virtual learning lab environment with Florida Virtual School. Melissa is in 11th grade and 16 years old. She takes classes through Florida Virtual School and Treasure Coast High School and is also dual enrolled at Indian River State College. And Kaylee is 16 years old and in 11th grade. She is at Florida Virtual School, Space Coast Junior Senior High, and dual enrolled at Eastern Florida State College. So let's get started. Kaylin, when you were thinking about, you're up in Northern Virginia, there are lots of schools, lots of different opportunities. T.C. Williams is a huge high school. There are over 5,000 students there. And they started trying to build out some different options using online learning, their online courses, and these new blended campuses. Can you talk about, when you think about your education and how to describe the kind of learning that you think best fits your needs, what is this environment like that you're in? Why did you choose it, and how does that help meet your needs?
Well, I actually chose Satellite because just the fact that I can go on my own pace. You usually have to do 20 hours a week, but I usually go more than that just because I'm graduating this year, so I have to accelerate with my class. But also just because I actually have a brother who goes to Satellite, and also just to motivate him, just because he struggles sometimes. So he's actually older than me, so I just want him to graduate as well, so he can feel motivated that he has to graduate.
Thank you. And Trumia, how long have you been at the EAA at your school?
Well, this year will be my second year.
And how do you like it? How does your school work different than other school environments that you've been in?
It works different than other school environments because I don't have to be rushed to do my work. I can work at my own pace, and it's different learning targets. There are different things that we can get on, such as Buzz, Alex, and Imagine Learning. And it's basically, you personalize your learning to make it to where you'll understand it more.
Thank you. And Frederick, you're in 4th grade. What is it that you like about the way your school works? Do you feel like it's personalized for the way you learn? And what are some of the things that you like about it?
Some of the things I like about it is like, well, the buzz will tell me what am I learning and what I'm not, and so it's kind of a way that I can keep up with my learning targets.
And so when you think about when you're learning reading or when you're learning math, how does that work for you? Like when you go into school, what kinds of things do you do with your teacher, and what kinds of things do you do with the technology?
Well, if I'm in math, I will work on Alex, and he will tell us what piece of the pie chart to click on of what we're learning.
Mm-hmm.
And so for ELA, I will go on Imagine Learning or Buzz, and if I'm on Imagine Learning, it will give me my own work, and if I'm on Buzz, he will tell me to click on which one he think I will be better off learning.
And is that helpful?
Yes.
And how is that helpful for you? What does that tell you?
That's telling me that my teacher is really trying to help me, and he's trying to make sure I move up higher.
Yes. And does that let you work at your own pace too?
Yes.
And is that different from other ways that you've learned before?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Jonah, talk about what made you want to start taking the Spanish classes online. What has your experience been with that?
Well, I started taking the Spanish classes because it was mandatory at my school, but it was actually, well, it was fun actually because our teachers would actually come into the classrooms, and I really wasn't expecting that. I thought that we would just call them or email them, but when they came in and actually started talking to us, I realized it was more personal learning.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. And Melissa, what made you want to try the online courses that you've taken? What's your experience been like, and how does that work in your school?
Well, I've only taken one class online, and it's leadership skills and development, and it's been excellent overall because I have the best teachers. And I took it because it's mandatory in my high school to take at least one online class to graduate, and I don't want to take math or English online, so I decided to take an elective, so I decided leadership skills. And
Great.
It's been excellent. I loved it.
Terrific. And Kaylee, and for those of you in the audience, we want you to be using Twitter to send questions up, and we'll be pulling from audience questions on Twitter, iNACOL 13, so we'll take your questions too. Kaylee, can you talk about what made you want to sign up for online classes and what your experience has been like?
When I was in middle school, I started at Space Coast, and I just didn't feel comfortable. I just didn't like it. So I went to Florida Virtual full-time for 7th and 8th grade, and it just helped me feel better and more determined, I guess, to get it done, and it was very helpful, and I got to do the work on my own pace, and it was a good experience.
When we think about personalized learning, we think about students being able to go at their own pace, students getting help exactly when they need it on something that they might be struggling with. We think about having additional tools and resources available to them. When you think about your own educational experience, how is your experience in blended or online learning really benefited you as an individual? And we can come back down. Or if somebody wants to jump in, that's fine too. Do you feel like it's different from a traditional education system? I mean, are there things that really stand out that you say, this is a value to me or this is a benefit?
Yeah, the fact that you can take your own time to do an assignment and there's not like a bell-to-bell schedule kind of relieves the pressure off of you having to work too hard, and you can put all your effort into the one assignment instead of worrying about just getting it done.
Anybody else want to jump in? Yeah? Jamia?
It's different than traditional schools because you get challenged. And I'm in the 8th grade, and I never knew that I could work on high school work. So when I came to Nolan for the first year at EAA, when I was in the 7th, I was working on 9th grade work, and I was getting more challenged, and I was absorbing more learning than I would working on stuff on my grade level with other students that's going slower than me.
That's great. Anyone else? Want to jump in? All righty, then. So the audience is also interested in hearing about what things do you think about in your learning environments that could be improved, or what's not working for you? Are there things about the way that it's set up that you would like to fix? Or if you had to tell your principal what you'd like to see more of, do you have ideas or suggestions for ways things could be better? Kaylin?
Yeah, I actually think that the videos could probably be changed a little bit better just because of the quality, and like it's sometimes always the same person talking. So some of the students like just get bored of the videos, and just because the videos actually give notes that you can like actually, once you're taking the quizzes, some of the questions on the quiz is what was on the videos. So some kids just tend to skip the video just because it's boring. So I'll just probably change the videos.
How long are the videos?
Sometimes they're like from 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, very interesting. Other suggestions? Things you'd like to see? So you're pretty happy with the environment and how it's set up, online and blended? Yeah. Jamia?
I would like to see like real life events put into the way, like put into real life events explaining the subject.
Very good. Real life events explain the subject. I love that. Any other ideas? All right. So, do you find the academic work challenging in your classroom environments and your learning environments online? Is it challenging? This is for everybody. Want to start? Kaylin?
Yes, it's actually challenging just because like the way the teachers formatted, like every single teacher has a different way of like teaching. And then like let's say my history class, my teacher, he doesn't let us like go on and take the quiz until we finish the study guide. Like he makes sure that we finish it. So I just think that's a pretty like challenging, just because I know that I have to get the study guide, done. We go over it and then just be ready to take the quiz.
It's challenging because each platform has a different way of explaining it, different activities on how to do it.
So you have different kinds of content and different ways of doing it instead of just one way in a textbook?
Yes.
Okay, great.
It's different because it's challenging because, like, the technology will give you a harder question. Like, if it gave me a math question, 2 + 4, I'll say 6, and it'll give me a hard one. But if I get it wrong, it'll like give me a better one that I'll actually know.
So it's adaptive. Adaptive gives you different feedback. Jonah?
Well, it is challenging mostly because, well, I'm taking Spanish, and learning in a second language it's always hard, but it's kind of easy if you take notes on the subject, and yeah.
Yep. Great. Thank you. Melissa?
It was not as challenging as I thought it was going to be because I'm taking leadership skills and development. It's teaching me how to become a better student and a better person overall. So I didn't think it was that challenging because I'm not taking math or a really hard subject.
Melissa, how does it do that? though, I mean, you signed up for leadership development based on your own interest in
My own interest, because I always I try to find a way to be a better student and study better, and that class has helped me so much. It taught me how to, if it wasn't for this class, I would have never speak in front of all you people. And I only know one other person who took in that class, and she works for my mom. She's a host for events, and she does a bunch of internships, and she said it's because of this class too. So I'm really happy I took it. I'm still taking it. Yeah.
Kaylee?
I've taken a lot of classes on FLVS, and I just find that, each one is different compared to like the traditional classes, because every student is different. So like the English classes and the science classes were really easy for me. But one challenge that I did face was for the history class. We would have reviews at the end, and they wouldn't match with the test, and I would have notes and everything, and that was just some challenge that I found.
So here's a different question, and anybody can start to answer this too. And it's when you were making your decision to go to the blended schools at the EAA or the satellite campus, or enroll in online courses, the question is, were your parents part of your decision to learn in a blended learning environment? What were their reactions? When you think about when you first made this decision.
Well, I've been going to Nolan since I was in the 3rd grade, and when I first found out that it was transforming to a EAA, I decided that I wanted to go to a different school. But me and my mama went back and forth arguing about going back to the EAA school. So I stayed at Nolan, and I was kind of hesitant, but when I went, then I started understanding SEL and all the different things that we do. I started liking it more and more each day, and I have more opportunities now. Like this opportunity, I had to come to Florida to speak in front of you, and we have more choice in our learning. So.
How do you have more choice in your learning?
Each student brains think and act different. So just because one student is doing something, that don't mean you have to do it. You have the opportunity to work on Buzz, Alex, and Magic Learning, or you can even sit down with the teacher and have a conference, or you could ask help from another student, or you can even help another student. So if the teacher's helping something, you don't have to just wait on her. You can ask a different student, or you can even ask for help on Buzz.
Do you know which students to ask for help? Is there a way to tell?
Yes, on Buzz, it's like a little program. It says, I need help, and you click the button, you'll see whoever's working on that learning target and who has mastered it, and they'll help you with it.
That's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. Frederick, were you going to talk about, were your parents part of your decision to learn in a blended learning environment? What were their reactions?
Well, their reactions was they didn't actually want me to go there because they didn't know what was gonna be like. But me and my sister, the first day we learned a lot, and so my parents let us stay there. So what I'm saying, I've been going there since I was in 2nd grade, and when I was in 3rd, it started being an EAA school. So I was learning 3rd grade math and reading, and then when I mastered that, and I was still in 3rd grade, I took the performance series test, and it took me up to a 5th grade math level and a 3rd grade reading level.
So you were able to go through and have different levels and then get supported for doing that where you were in your own learning. And,
yes.
And that was great feedback to get, too. And what about your sister?
My sister, she's in the 6th, and both of her levels are in 8th.
Yep, that's awesome. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. So, Kaylin, did you want to talk about, were your parents part of your decision to learn in a blended learning environment? What were their reactions?
Yeah, well, actually, my mom was part of the decision. I actually decided that I wanted to do satellite during like the summer. I talked to her about it. She actually was somewhat like undecided at first, just because I already had a sibling going there, but she was just like, okay, you know, not everybody's the same, so she was like, okay, go ahead and try it. And the thing is that she already knew the staff, she already knew my counselor, and some staff members, like the teachers, so she was like, okay, go ahead and try it. The thing is that she just supported me, and I guess it's going pretty well now.
Was it because you had a sibling in T.C. Williams School, and so going to a different campus, or because the learning environment was different?
Like actually my brother, he came from T.C. Williams, went to satellite.
Okay.
At first everything was going well, and then she was just like, okay, go ahead and try it, and now it's actually going pretty well.
Great, terrific. So, Melissa, Kaylee, Jonah, any feedback on your parents' involvement in your decision to take an online course or have that self-blend experience?
Well, my mom had no idea I even signed up for it at first. But I just forgot to tell her, and then she got an email from my teacher saying what an amazing student I was, and she came to me, Melissa, what class are you taking? I explained to her I'm taking a Florida virtual school class of leadership, and she was really happy that I was doing that, and I did it on my own. I didn't ask for permission or anything.
I don't want to encourage anything that can be a good leadership skill to
I don't
have.
recommend it to anyone.
So, Jonah, Kaylin?
Well, my class is mandatory, and at the time, my mom was actually in charge of it. So, she wasn't exactly surprised, so.
Kaylee?
Before I signed up for virtual school, my mom was like, you should probably do that. And I was like, no, I'll like middle school. And I ended up hating it, and she had the I told you so behavior. But it's all right, because I ended up loving it, so.
It's good. This is a little similar. What were characteristics in your thinking that you did differently in personalized learning? And another way I might think about asking that question is, each individual has their own creativity. And one of the questions we get all the time is, in online learning or in blended learning, are you able to have that creativity? So I'm going to ask the question in two ways. One, just real quickly down the line, how would you describe creativity, just in general?
The way I would just describe it is just the fact that, like, I guess you just like go on, and I mean everything is like the same. The only thing is that, you know, you're just there, you're doing it online, but at the same time you still have, you know, your teacher right next to you. I mean, nothing is like has changed from like traditional school.
Jamia?
Creativity to me is putting your style out there and showing people who you are.
Great. Frederick?
The creativity is like, I gotta say, my mom is like, she's always helping me with my homework, and so she will check it after I do it, and if I do something wrong, she will help me, and she wouldn't give me the answer, but she'll help me, and she'll see what I did wrong, and I'll redo it.
And so part of that learning and decision making and that
Yes.
process?
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, creativity to me is pretty much any form of art or anything colorful or writing or painting or drawing.
Melissa?
I believe creativity is getting it original and creating it to your own and making it your own. Yeah.
Kaylee?
I think creativity is a mix of like what the other panelists said, getting to like express yourself in like an art kind of way. But I also think being creative is letting loose and showing people who you are, because that's just a creative way to express yourself also.
Great. And are there ways in your learning environments that you feel like you can be creative? Does anybody want to share?
Yes.
What does that look like?
Well, I know in my economics class right now, there's a lot of presentations, like graphing and stuff I have to do, and I find that I can be creative with the presentations themselves, with the colors, and she finds that entertaining, so,
So you're designing presentations and you're giving presentations, and
yeah.
okay, very interesting. Anybody else?
Like showing my creativity, I do with my evidence. Like, there's no right or way to do your evidence because it's yours.
Yeah.
So I can maybe add some color here, put black and white there. It doesn't really matter as long as you got the work on the paper.
Very good. Excellent. Anyone else? Yeah, Jonah.
Well, in my Spanish class, I remember last year, we had to do a family tree project. So I went on Paint on the computer and I started making a family tree to show, and I put like grandma, grandpa, and then I would just go down the lines making a little tree, and my teacher found that pretty creative and liked it.
That's terrific. That's great. Melissa, yeah.
Leadership skills and development is full of creativity, the class, because we do a lot of presentations on people who inspire us, or we get to talk about ourselves and explain to my teacher what type of person I am. And it's also creative because there are so many ways to become a better person, and that class has taught me a lot. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to your friends that may not be in the same blended or online learning environments? Or what advice would you give to your friends thinking about coming to your school? What would you say to them?
An advice I would actually give a friend of mine will probably just be like, just to keep in mind that they have to stay on pace and to like just complete your hours to you know, like let's say they want to graduate early, like they have to like keep communication with the teachers, they have to like know how to take notes to succeed in the class. And just like in our school we actually have group sessions which we have, like it's just like a class, you go in, it's an hour, your teacher starts giving the lesson, and then you already know what to do for like that unit. So just attend the group sessions, keep communication. The staffs are always there for them. So
Great. Terrific.
If I was to recommend an EEA school, I would recommend an EEA school because it's a place where you can be who you are. You don't have to work as fast as the others, work as slow as the others. If you need help, you can ask for it. Don't be scared.
Thanks, Maria. That's great. Frederick?
Well, what I'm trying to say, my mom will help me on, like, sometimes she will come to the school and, like, come in and check on me. And if she think I'm doing something wrong, she will ask the teacher or even ask me. And so if I am, she will probably help the other students, and she will help them what they're behind in and what they need to go with for it. And I will do the same when I'm done with my achievements.
So, Frederick, when you're giving this advice to your friends about how it works, can you talk just a little bit about the difference between the grade level? So, what grade level are you in?
Well, in math, I am in 5, which is 5th grade. No, I mean 11, which is 5th grade. Sorry.
So there's a difference between the grade level and the instructional level, right? What's the difference between the instructional level and the grade level?
Well, the difference is 11 is 5th grade. So 1, 2 would be kindergarten and preschool. 3 and 4 would be 1st grade. 5 and 6 will be 2nd. 7, 8 will be 3rd. 9 and 10 will be 5th. And
Would be 4.
I mean,
right?
yeah, 4.
Yeah.
And 11 and 12 will be 5th.
Right. And so even though your age is 4th grade, you're able to do the instructional level of 5th grade or 11, right?
Yes.
In math. So that's pretty neat. Do you like that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for explaining that. So, Jonah, what advice would you give your friends thinking about it?
I would probably tell them that they should work on it at home, not just in the classes that we have at school. Because if you fall behind, it's pretty hard to get on track if you just start doing the classes on the 3 days. So working at home really helps.
So you work both inside school and outside school?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Melissa?
I would tell my friends to definitely do it because you get to take the class at your own pace. You get to do what you want to do and how you want to do it. So why not? And if you take classes at school, it's more challenging because maybe the person next to you is better than you and you start getting nervous. And online, I like working at home by myself more. So, and I think other students prefer that too, so I would tell my friends that.
Kaylee?
I think people have this mindset that FLVS is easy and you can just go in and get it done, but you do have to put work into it. It is school and you can't just throw something together.
So the advice you would give is to be prepared for a challenging
Yes.
instructional environment. So it's sort of back to Melissa's point, when you talk about the way you like to learn, I think there's a really important need for schools to be able to provide opportunities to socialize and collaborate with other students, and we hope that in new learning environments you're able to increase that socialization and collaboration, but it's not really clear. Sometimes people misunderstand and think that technology means that you're not collaborating or getting feedback or talking to your teachers or other students. And it's interesting, as we've started to study some of the new blended learning models, what students are reporting is that they're getting feedback in much smaller groups and more frequent feedback from their teachers. So the question is, when you think about how you socialize and collaborate with others, your fellow students, and your teacher in these environments, how does that work in your online class or in your blended class?
Well, my teacher, Mrs. Arnold, whenever I have a question, she'll text me right back, or she'll call me, or she'll email me, and I get a lot of feedback from her. And every assignment we do, we have a discussion group with all the other students in my course. So I've talked to almost every student who takes leadership skills, and you get a ton of feedback back, which I love.
That's great. Yeah. Kaylin?
The way, let's say in Satellite, the way we get our feedback is, like, when we take, like, a quiz online, like, it will go straight online, and if it needs grading by the teacher will grade it. There's actually a tab like right beside it where it's graded. She puts the feedback, we can look at it, or if the teacher knows that we don't look at it, she'll like put us on a one-on-one talk. She'll tell us what she can help us improve in, and like, or either they're gonna even have a group session where they talk about, you know, what the group was like struggling and what she could improve and on teaching, and just like, I don't know, like
No, that one-on-one.
just talking to us and as a group, you know, so we can like learn and know what we're supposed to do, so we can pass that lesson. Because if like, let's say she won't let us pass it until she knows that we understand the lesson.
That's great. That's terrific.
Well, it's like the 5 pillars. We receive continuous feedbacks. Like, if my teacher see that we're not producing enough evidence, she wouldn't tell us until we've completed it. She will give us the work of what the evidence we need to produce.
So you're having that interaction even while you're producing evidence of your learning, and she's going to ask you to keep doing that until you're producing that evidence that shows that you understand it.
Yes, she is. She gives us the producing evidence that we need, and when we get done doing it, how she keeps up with our evidence is she gets an evidence wall of which subject we're learning, and she puts a sticker up there. I've completed 3 subjects, which is all of mine this month, so she would continue me on for my ELA or science.
Yes, terrific. Thank you. Anyone else want to talk about how you socialize with other students while you're learning, or what kind of interaction?
Well, what happens in my class is we have collaboration assignments where we find a partner and then we do the assignment, and yeah, that's about it.
Very good. And Shamia, I'll give you the last word because I've just noticed that we're running out of time. So,
Well, in my class, we have, in the middle school wing, we have collaborized classroom. And collaborized classroom is where you can go to your success group, and the teacher will have a post, and you'll have either a CNN student news feed, or you'll have a book that you have to read. And you have to go and answer the question that the teacher put down. And when you post it, that allows the other students to see what you're writing, and they can come and discuss you can trade ideas. Like, they'll say something and you can add on to it. So you can even help them with their collaborized classroom posts.
very cool. And the wrap up is one word to describe your learning experience in blended and online learning. Fire round, whatever comes to your mind first. Who wants to shout out? One word to describe learning.
Outstanding.
Outstanding.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Challenging.
Challenging.
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment.
Fun.
Fun.
Successful.
Successful. Give a huge round of applause to our student panel. Thank you so much. You can stand up.